not psychic, but I have a psychic bone, I like to think. And it's almost like a dolphin has echolocation or some shit. You know how they're like, ah, ah, ah. They can like tell if you're like pregnant or like you're fucking, I don't know, like whatever. And I feel like that's how I feel, except for instead of like my fucking bone, it's like a bone in my fucking heart and brain. And it, like, I know when people are meant to be together, Tracy.
Like, punish a bitch, I'm right here.
Oh, see, like, you want to get like locked in a cage and like spit on and stuff like that
No,
kind of
that's a
thing.
degrady. I'm a brat. I just want to, like,
Wait,
spank a hoe once or
explain,
twice.
explain this to me.
I'm very turned off by people wanting me to be a dom. I think it's annoying because, like I said, I'm dominant in my day to day. I don't need that in the bedroom.
Yeah.
But like in terms of me, I'm a bratty sub where I might like pout and act like a little fucking bratty bitch, but I absolutely spank a hoe. Get me right. Get me in order. I'm Ohheytracy. I'm a cosplayer, a writer. I stream talking about ghosts all the time and my experience growing up in haunted house and all that. And yeah, I hang out and I'm on a lot of shows. That's from my writing. Everyone who streams asks me about my verification on Twitter. It's because I'm a writer. I had 2 occurrences. I think one of them was it wasn't me specifically, but I was involved with the staff. Kid Cudi. Ahead of time, we were kind of prepared because we had heard that like even in press events, if you're in the front row and you don't sing along to everything, he will pull you out and send you to the back. So he only wants people who sing along to his songs in the front. So I guess he wasn't happy with our stylist. So he called me all the way in New York, and 1, he fired our stylist on the spot and picked out his own clothes. And 2, he made me order him chicken and waffles from across the country. Like, I'm in New York, he's in LA, and I had to like specifically look for chicken and waffle spot by him and order it for him, even though I was nowhere near him. And then he ditched our party that we had at that magazine because he wanted to be the only VIP.
Have you always been a writer? Like, even when you were young, like a kid and stuff? Have you always been, like, writing?
You're gonna hate to hear this. I fucking hated writing. I dropped all my...
You
I only took, like, poetry
bitch.
and a bit.
You little bitch.
I started off as a fashion stylist, and it just so happened they always needed more writers, and I started writing that way because they would just throw me into it without asking me. My first story ever, I'll tell you, was the worst experience. I was interviewing a composer. I was like 19, interviewing a composer who had been on Wonder Chosen, which was like a really raunchy puppet show, but he also did professional stuff. He hated how I wrote it so much, he started giving me troll answers. And the editor ended up giving a fake name and fake answers because she was like, this guy was being a dick the whole time. Oh, he was a douchebag. But after that, my writing improved. Yeah, I started interning at about 17 in fashion. And I went to school for first fashion design, and then I went to school for marketing, fashion marketing. FIT is like the biggest fashion school here, and it's like next door to Parsons. So it was like right in the fabric district. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of those. There's a lot of racism. There was a lot of people who were used to being really rich and talking down on people who weren't, and I definitely wasn't. But I got to meet a lot of celebrities, interview a lot of celebrities, do a lot of cool photo shoots. I know the last shoot I styled was for the Bella twins, the wrestlers. And I know one of them was pregnant at the time, and we styled them at a hotel that hosts a lot of Fashion Week events, and we were in the like club area, so it was a lot of punk inspired stuff, and it was pretty fun. I initially did design, and I used to specifically design for the editors at magazines for when they were going to like events. I would make them custom dresses, and then that's when I started working at the New York Post as a assistant stylist. And I would basically, it means that I call in of all these brands and ask them to send us stuff for free to borrow it for a photo shoot, and in exchange we advertise their clothes on our like paper. So I did that for a really long time for the Post, Zinc magazine, and then my longest run was like 5 years at the New York Daily News, where I was styling most of the shoots there between gift guides, and then I covered Twitch streamers and gaming and all that. It kind of just grew to what I liked. I interview movie stylists and movie designers. I can't lie, it was really fun. It meant that I got a bunch of free clothes. I have a whole bedroom I converted to a closet because I couldn't fit all the clothes I have. So yeah, I covered clothes and beauty. So I have like a lot of makeup, a lot of clothes, a lot of shoes and stuff from back then. And my whole job was calling in all these stores and their PR agents and asking them to just send it to us for free so we could dress out people, and I got to pick out the outfits they were wearing based on whatever the scenario was. But people don't realize that the work goes mostly into, especially character. If it's a photo shoot for fashion, you get a theme. You just have to put a model in a theme. If it's a photo shoot based on a character, you have to ask yourself a lot, what would this person wear in this scenario? Yeah, so like if I was dressing Dr. Disrespect, I have to ask myself, is this how he dresses? Like I have to actually pick out outfits specifically based on them. Let's Hear is a Riot Girl band. Kathleen Hanna, who is friends with Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, was the lead singer.
Yes. I know you're talking about.
I fucking love them, and our stylist decided that she wanted to dress all of them as girls, but one of them is actually a trans male, which caused a huge meltdown. So they called their assistant to grab their own clothes, refused to wear any of her clothes, and I was so awkward because it was my first time meeting this band I love. I love this band.
Yeah, and you're like probably trying not to fangirl and like trying to like play like professional, like
Oh,
don't
at this
like
point I
fuck it.
gave
Yeah.
up. I was like, I'm gonna fangirl. They already fucked up so bad. So I started doing the dance to one of their music dance aerobics thing. And I did the whole fucking dance. I was out of fucking air and everything, and they were just laughing like, that's adorable. I was
I love
20.
that.
Everyone I've met's been pretty cool with me. I think, but I'm kind of on the end where it could be because I was press and they just didn't want to have, you know, something shitty said about them. But I know I had one who she dates a basketball player and she's on MTV a lot, and she was a VJ on MTV, and her manager did not allow anyone, including the other talent, to look at her in the eye. On the same level they saw you a celebrity, you were cool to approach them, but if you weren't, they just didn't want anything to do with you. And I thought it was kind of a douchebag thing. Like, they didn't make it seem like it was anxiety. They made it seem like, oh, you're not important enough to look her in the eye. And I think she's still pretty known and on TV shows. I know she's dating a basketball player, and she used to be a VJ on MTV. Chrissy Teigen's really nice.
I've heard really good things about Chrissy Teigen.
Ed Norton I met, and I was in love with him, and I was so happy I met him. He was really cool too, from Fight Club. So I was an art major growing up, and I did fine arts. And I think what made me realize I can't do that as work was I used to get really fucking pissed when the teachers told me what to do with my art. So I was like, I need to pick a job where I won't take this too to heart. Like, I'm not gonna fucking get pissed off. And I had a fashion class in high school that I like almost failed, but it was a lot of fun. I've been working in fashion since 17, so I've been working for 13 years in the fashion industry and writing. I've been cosplaying since probably I left the Daily News. I started cosplaying, which was, I want to say 4 years ago.
Loic wants to know, Tracy, do you do independent contracted work per DM, or do you work under a company or agency?
Right now I'm independent. I usually work full-time for a company. So I was at the New York Post full-time, Zinc Magazine full-time, New York Daily News full-time until they had their big layoffs. And then after that, I was freelancing. I used to freelance copywriting for Chinese companies looking to convert their fashion stuff into English. And then I went to work at memes. I worked for a meme app called Elsewhere, and I was responsible for creating their gaming initiative, adding more gaming clips to it, running their Twitch and producing their programs there, hiring my own community team, and like growing all their social media platforms. And then that closed just before COVID lockdown, and that's when I started doing freelance for companies. I do like consulting for brands to grow their pages. Adrienne Bailon from the Cheetah Girls.
Oh, she definitely was nice.
I did a fashion shoot with her, and then, okay, so this is gonna be weird. I did a fashion shoot with her. A week later was Fashion Week, and I was supposed to interview Sammy and Ronnie from the Jersey Shore. Ronnie started talking to me because I was trying to get her attention, and Sammy got so mad she grabbed Ronnie and wouldn't allow him to speak to me because I was a girl trying to talk to him. And Adrienne happened to be there, and she grabbed me and was like, I'll let you interview me. And like, you could just tell the editor they were too busy. So like, that girl came in clutch and saved my ass because I had no one else to chill with. I was like, I need to interview someone or my editor's gonna kill me. And Sammy didn't like me talking to Ronnie, so I had to interview her instead. But it worked out perfectly because she's definitely more important than the Jersey Shore people. Usually I pitch them a lot. So for the most part, if they give me a story, they can, if there's no one to cut it. For the most part, I get to pitch them. I know I've pitched stories. Okay, so like, I think the weirdest one I pitched that they accepted was I had a guy who used to work for a magazine that I was friends with, started a New York sex club out of nowhere. Like, he just quit fashion and decided I'm starting a sex club. So I got to go to their educational night. Yeah. And their educational night was an educational drug night, and I don't do that, but I got to hang out while they were all tripping. There was a trend where they snorted chocolate, like raw chocolate. No, Scorpios and Leos are my exact opposite. They are way too confident.
Really?
I am definitely just a nerd.
Confident. You're so confident. You are not a nerd.
I have really, really bad social anxiety. I just learned to hide it because I'm really bad. But I also worked in PR and writing and all that, where I was forced to talk to people a lot. So I'm good at hiding it until I start like panicking at the end of the day. Like, holy shit, I talked to too many people. I need to go sleep for a week now. I'm like a really big introvert. I like to not be around people. And if I'm around too many people for too long, I get physically exhausted. I need to sleep for as long as humanly possible. I cannot do it. If I talk about like my high school years and stuff like that, I never know the difference until I talk to somebody not from around here. I know I had a coworker from Jersey, and he would look at me like I was crazy talking about the shit we did in New York. But I guess it like we can spot a California person a mile away. Because like when I was at my newspaper where that got me verified, it was kind of a given thing if you're a reporter. But they do tell you what they look for, and saying this is gonna suck because people are definitely gonna find like the worst pictures of me in the world. They try to see if you're pictured on Getty Images and stuff like that. They want to see that like the press and the paparazzi care about your picture. It has to be there. Paparazzi has taken my picture just for being front row at a lot of fashion shows, and that's how I got like a lot of my pictures. It's the worst pictures in the world of me at like 18, 19, 20 at fashion shows. So like they looked a lot about how much articles are written about me. I've had articles written where I'm interviewed a lot. Like this is gonna go like shout out to my fucking Style by Tracy website. This is gonna go in my interview section with people who've interviewed me for different stuff. I've had people, they definitely care about the pictures and how many verified people follow you. That also, they don't tell you that, but that counts a lot. If verified people follow you and interact with you, they kind of just assume that, you know, you must be somebody in their group.
So
I'm a practicing witch. I've been a practicing witch since I was 9 years old. At 9, so I grew up in Catholic schools only. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere else. But I remember I was very upset with the fact that your parents can just choose your religion for you.
Yeah.
So I became really big on reading about every religion I could. I really read about everything I could find, because my teachers were mad if you asked. At the beginning of like when the internet was popular, and I was just like, "What's this? I can just look up this shit."
Yeah.
And that's where I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about different religions, and I was trying to figure out where I fit. And for me, it was with witchcraft, and I got to connect with learning a lot about gods and goddesses and all that. And it was really fun.
You grew up going to Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? So is your family like how was that?
It had nothing to do with our religion. My stepfather is Greek Orthodox. So my stepdad is Greek. My mom is Colombian, and she doesn't really take it very seriously. My sister didn't start taking Catholicism seriously till recently. And I was always one that I liked to learn more about them. But my mom also thought that Catholic schools were the better schools, so I wasn't allowed to go to public school until college. So I could only enroll in Catholic schools unless she would fucking I remember I got accepted to like the smartest public school in New York City, and she still said no. I'm obsessed with gaming and anime, and like that's my biggest ones. So pretty much, if any guy mentions gaming and he's not just console, because I get a lot of people who say, "Oh yeah, I love gaming. I played Call of Duty like fucking 10 years ago on Xbox." And I'm like, unfucking swipe. Like, I'm looking for people who game a lot, but actually like use a PC also, know what the fuck Discord is, that's where I talk the most, and will watch anime with me. So I've only been on this shit for a fucking month, and I was in a relationship for like the last 2 years. It's my first time being single in a long time. And that's my biggest thing. I'm just like, I just want somebody who's like near my age, also like at an age where settling down is on the mind. But also I want to play video games and not be like yelled at for playing video games. I want us to be in separate rooms for like at least a couple hours a day where I can be on Discord playing video games and that I can cook dinner for. Hello? I want to cook for a boyfriend again. If you have no kinks, I probably would not like you. I'm really big on like, you need to have something.